Hey.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganavita Shri Vishathanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shubhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Sthaya Bhutvishmita Radhanath Swami Padaya Krishna Parishthaya Bhutvishmita Radhanath Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Charani Kam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lankayate Girim Yat Kripada Mahamande Shri Guru Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Hare Krishna. So welcome back. We are continuing our Chaitanya Pravaha series. So we are resuming our sessions from after quite some break. I don't recollect how many, maybe a couple of months or more. The last time, in the last class of the Chaitanya Pravaha series, we had just started with chapter 21. I believe we had almost done 100 verses from this particular chapter. We are still in the section of Chaitanya Shiksha, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. This particular chapter, chapter 21 from the Madhya Lila, is entitled The Opulence and Sweetness of Lord Sri Krishna. So a lot of discussion about Sambandha Gyan has already happened in the previous chapter, where Lord Chaitanya has instructed Sanatana Goswami in a fair amount of detail. Like what we have mentioned earlier multiple times in our classes, the bulk of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya have been captured by the various Goswamis and by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the form of various conversations. Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not really write any books on devotional literature. Apart from the Shikshashtaka, which themselves are also recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita, most of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, especially in relation to achieving Krishna Prem and about Sri Krishna himself, the name, form, qualities, pastimes of Krishna. Much of it comes from the teachings that Lord Chaitanya gave to various personalities. Whether it is to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, whether it is to Ramananda Rai, whether it is to Goswami, whether it is to Sanatana Goswami, whether it is to Prakashananda Saraswati. These 5 odd conversations are pretty important philosophical conversations, uh, which, when studied closely, give a very, very solid understanding of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And especially with Sanatana Goswami, the emphasis of the instructions of Lord Chaitanya was on Sambandha Jnana. Sambandha Jnana means understanding the nature of our relationship with Krishna. So, this particular chapter is a part of the continuation of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, is where Lord Chaitanya is explaining to Sanatana Goswami two aspects: opulence of Krishna, Aishwarya, and sweetness of Krishna, Krishna's Madhurya. Generally, the world is attracted by opulence. However, Krishna is known not just because of his opulence, but because of his sweetness, Madhurya. So, oftentimes we say, oh, Narayan is opulence and Krishna is sweetness. So, sometimes it may seem to devotees that actually Krishna is not as opulent as Narayan, but Krishna is sweet. Actually, that is not really accurate. Krishna's opulence is super excellent, but Krishna's sweetness overshadows his opulence. No one can excel Krishna either in opulence or in sweetness, but Krishna's sweetness is so charming to the heart that in the face of Krishna's sweetness, his opulence falls in the background. Of course, Krishna's opulence also, especially in the spiritual abode of Goloka Vrindavan, is also of the nature of rustic opulence. Very beautiful, attractive, village-like environment. So this chapter is going to summarize both the opulences as well as the sweetness of Krishna. So actually, in the last class, we already discussed some part. We had already begun with this chapter, but since we are beginning after a long time, I thought we will start from the beginning of this chapter. Otherwise, it may be a little bit difficult to get a hang of the flow, especially after such a long break. There may be some overlap as compared to what we discussed last, but please bear with that. Again, this particular chapter is predominantly a philosophical teaching, not so much of pastimes, but as a part of the teachings, a couple of pastimes of Lord Krishna are mentioned to illustrate points around the Lord's opulence and the Lord's sweetness. So, the first part of this chapter is related to the Lord's opulence. One of the key points that this initial section, almost the first 100 verses, focus on in terms of demonstrating the Lord's opulence is essentially a detailed expansion of what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhahu matta sarvam pravartate. Chimatva bhajante maam buddha bhavas. I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. So the description of the spiritual realm, material realm, and of Goloka Vrindavan and Krishna's position constitutes the summarization of the opulence of Krishna. So this chapter begins by Lord Chaitanya telling Sanatana Goswami that the Lord has many forms, and we discussed this in the previous chapter where we discussed various incarnations of the Lord. The Lord has so many forms. Even amongst the avatars, there are Guna avatars, there are Lila avatars, there are Manvantara avatars, Shaktavesh avatars, Yuga avatars, so on and so forth. And unlimited expansions of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says all these forms of the Lord are all transcendental and they're all situated in the spiritual sky. People often have a misunderstanding that God, when he takes an incarnation, he takes a form temporarily in this world and then he goes back. So they have a kind of an imagination that there is a original form of four-handed form, and then when the Lord takes Vaman form, he temporarily takes that form, and then that form disappears. But Lord Chaitanya explains that actually all forms of the Lord are transcendental and all the forms of the Lord are eternal. So when we say, what does it mean they are eternal? If Ramchandra performed his pastimes on earth when Ramayana happened, even though that was an extensive period, now he's not there. Maybe again when he appears, that form will become manifest. But Lord Chaitanya explains, no, it is not like that. Each and every form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally existing in the spiritual world. And every form of the Lord has his own Vaikuntha planet. So just like the incarnations of the Lord are endless, the previous chapter, Lord Chaitanya explains that just like there are unending waves in the ocean, similarly there are unending number of incarnations. Practically 500,000 Manvantara incarnations, something of that order, within the lifetime of Brahma. It's just mind-boggling. So all these incarnations of the Lord are actually eternal forms of the Lord. Each of whom has their own Vaikuntha. And that is why the word avatar is so true, because avatar means avatari, to come down. So when we say avatar, that particular form of the Lord who is eternally residing on a particular Vaikuntha planet, for example, Lord Ramchandra has his Saketa Dham in the spiritual world. So whenever he comes down from Saket, and then that replica of Saket in this material world is in Ayodhya. He appears there, performs his pastimes, wraps up his pastimes, goes back to the Saket Dham. Same way, Narasimha has his own planet, Vamana has his own planet, Matsya has his own planet, Kurma has his own planet. So on the planet of Narasimha, Narasimha Dev presides, his eternal devotees. So like that, there are, how many Vaikuntha planets are there? Lord Chaitanya says, there is no counting of those planets. So to give an idea of the size of each Vaikuntha planet, Lord Chaitanya says, each Vaikuntha planet is 8 miles multiplied by 100, multiplied by 1000, multiplied by 10,000, multiplied by 100,000, multiplied by million, multiplied by 10 million. So by now we should have understood what he's actually trying to say. Hopefully you're not opening your calculators and multiplying. Lord Chaitanya says, basically I'm trying to say there is no measuring of the size of each Vaikuntha planet. They are just immeasurably vast. They are beyond our ability to measure. Not only are they extremely huge, each and every Vaikuntha planet, but they're not constituted of matter. They are made of pure bliss. This is made of the superior energy of the Lord. Krishna has explained in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Parastasmat bhavo anyo vyaktat sanatana yah cha sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. What Krishna says, in this material world is continuously manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. Vyakta, avyakta, vyakta, vyakta, avyakta. But beyond, this is from the 7th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna that beyond this material world, which is repeatedly manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest, Parastu tasmat bhavo anyo. There is another kind of existence which is never destroyed even when the material world is destroyed. न तद् भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धामं परमं मम. That abode is ever effulgent. There is no darkness. It doesn't need the sun, moon. It is effulgent by its very nature of being spiritual. Material world is dark. That's why it's known as tamas, andhakar, ignorance. We need the sun to give some light. The sun is down, like it is now currently in KL. It's all dark outside. We have to use electricity to bring some light so I can see you all, and then I can see myself. Otherwise, but in the spiritual world, there is no such need. Natad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka. No sun, no moon, and Prabhupada says no electricity. Bhagavad Gita uses the word pavaka. Pavaka means fire. So Prabhupada uses the word fire in a broader sense, electricity. Any form of energy generation within this world. Tadhamam paramam. That place is my eternal abode. It's eternal. Unlimited Vaikuntha planets. And then Lord Chaitanya makes a very interesting statement. All these unlimited Vaikuntha planets are situated in one corner of the spiritual sky. Who can measure the extent of the spiritual sky? And then there's a very beautiful description of the spiritual realm which Lord Chaitanya gives, where he compares the spiritual realm to a lotus flower. So what I'm going to do, I think it's probably easier if I do a sharing of the screen, then I can try that. Then I can explain to you a bit more easier. I think many of you would have seen this image. Right? Okay, you all can see? Yeah. So, Lord Chaitanya explains, he says the whole spiritual realm in the Vaikuntha is shaped like a lotus. See this lotus? In fact, this chapter, this particular very beautiful picture, this is the picture of the material world, going all the way across the Karan ocean, Brahmajyoti, Vaikuntha, and then the Madhurya Dham. Is all essentially a summarization of this chapter. So this image, this particular beautiful paintings, I've seen many devotees, they keep a big poster in their house of this particular drawing. It's a very beautiful, attractive, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. So when you look at this, then the understanding is very strongly becomes very concrete. Never mind. So I'm going to explain in brief. He says, in the center of the spiritual world, there is a huge spiritual lotus. All the various Vaikuntha planets are located on the various petals of this lotus flower. But at the center of the lotus flower, which is the whorl of the lotus, whorl means the round part, the central part. That is the center of all spiritual existence. And that is Krishna Loka. So, within Krishna Loka, there are three kinds of dham. Now I'm going to summarize. I'm not going to go verse by verse. I want to quickly walk you through this particular diagram. So there is Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavan, where Radha Krishna and their eternal associates. So Krishna with his Swarupa Shakti, the original Supreme Lord, with his first expansion. I wouldn't actually, first expansion is Balram, but his energetic expansion first. His first energetic expansion is his Swarupa Shakti. Krishna is his Swarupa, his original Swarupa, and his Swarupa Shakti is Radharani. So in every Dhama, the Lord has his own Shakti manifest together with him. In Goloka, Radharani is Swarupa Shakti. Then there is Mathura, there is Dwarka. In Dwarka, Rukmini is his consort. So there are innumerable. So you can see here there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets which are scattered around the lotus of the spiritual world of Krishna Loka. So this central lotus part is what is known as the Madhurya Dham. Madhurya Dham means predominated by sweetness. Now, what is that sweetness? That sweetness is the topic of discussion of the second half of this chapter. So we'll come to that a little later. This Krishna's sweetness is so attractive, that those who are even in Vaikunthas, they hanker to go and have one darshan of Krishna. What to speak of living entities? Even other forms of the Lord, Vishnu Murtis, hanker to see Krishna and his Krishna's beauty. And there are many pastimes to support this. This is not an exaggeration or imagination. It's a pastime of how Mahavishnu wanted to see Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful. So these are all, if you see this round, these are all individual Vaikuntha planets. So this is Matsya's planet. This is Varaha's planet. This is Narasimha's planet. This is Buddha's planet. So all these various Narayan expansions and their eternal associates, they are residing. So I'm not going to go through each and every aspect of this drawing. You can go through it later at length. I just want to cover the key parts which are discussed here. So those who are attracted, so what I'm trying to say is those who are attracted. So for example, there are some devotees who are attracted to a specific form of the Lord. So for example, you will see here there is Ayodhya Dham, Saketa Dham. The Ayodhya Dham is considered higher than the Vaikunthas, but lower than Goloka. So Vaikuntha, higher than Vaikuntha is Ayodhya, higher than Ayodhya is Dwarka, higher than Dwarka is Mathura, higher than Mathura is Goloka. Goloka Vrindavan is the center of the spiritual lotus. So those who are devotees of particular form of the Lord, after achieving perfection, after becoming free from the modes and quitting their material bodies and attaining the spiritual world, they find eternal residence on that particular planet, on where their Ishta form of the Lord resides. So if somebody is a devotee of the Lord, but especially attracted to him as Narasimha, then you will very likely find him on this planet, where the Lord especially manifests his form of Narasimha and is surrounded by his devotees. And so on and so forth. For Varaha, Matsya, Ramachandra, and other forms. Even Dwarka, for that matter, even Mathura, for that matter. So unlimited Vaikuntha planets. These Vaikuntha planets, see this lotus, which is shown here, is actually emanating. It's an effulgent lotus which is emanating spiritual light in all directions. The Shastras explain that that spiritual light is nothing but the personal effulgence of the body of the original personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. You can just see there is some rays shown coming. So they are going in all directions, and all the various Vaikuntha planets are said to be floating within this rays, which are the Brahmajyoti. Below the Vaikuntha Dham is Kailasa Dham. So this particular Kailasa Dham is not the Kailas of the material world. This is the Kailas of the spiritual world. Here Lord Sadashiva resides with his consort Parvati eternally. So we discussed earlier, just like we have a Kailas in India, of course currently it is more on the politically it is on the China side of the border, but uh, that is a replica of the original Kailas. There is also another Kailas which is in Ilavarta Varsha, where Lord Shankar personally resides with Parvati in this planet. Sorry, in this universe. But there is a Brahma and Shiva in each universe and a Vishnu in each universe. But there is one Sadashiva from whom all other Shivas expand. So that Sadashiva resides in this Kailas, Sadashiva Loka. This Kailas is beyond the material world, even beyond Brahmajyoti. So if you see here, let's quickly go through. So this part is the material world. From the body of Mahavishnu, as he breathes out, unlimited universes emanate. You can see this, they're all emanating like bubbles coming out from the pores of his skin. How many bubbles? Unlimited. Unlimited universes. Actually, absolutely uncountable. And each universe has 14 planetary systems. So this is a zoom in of one universe. Each of this bubble is one universe. This is our universe shown. How there is, within the universe, there is the Garbhodaka ocean on which Garbhodaksha Vishnu resides. There is a lotus coming from his navel. There are 14 planetary systems across the stem. At the top is Brahmaloka. And
Prabhuji, sorry to interrupt, Prabhu. Prabhu,
yeah.
can you tell that Bhu Bhuva that demarcation?
Yeah, this is Bhu.
Okay.
Bhuva, Swaha. So there are 14 planetary systems, right? Patal, Rasatal, Mahatal, Talatal, Sutal, Vital, Atal, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Janar Mahar, Tapa, Satya. Brahmaji is above. So this we discussed when we also discussed the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavad, where this is a simplistic view. We discussed how you have the Bhu Mandal and the lower planets are actually inside the earth, inside the Bhu Mandal within the earth. It is shaped in a peculiar way, right? So I'm not going to go into that diagram right now, but you can map your understanding. So each of this universe is a Brahma under, egg of Brahma, and each of them is covered by various shells: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. These shells are not to scale, this is for simplicity, but each of the subsequent layers is said to be 10 times the size of the previous one. So like that, unlimited universes. Even the, and this is only the material world. And this entire material world, Lord Chaitanya explains to Sanatana Goswami, is like a small part in the corner of the spiritual world. All these unlimited universes. All these unlimited universes constitute what is known as Ekapada Vibhuti. Ekapada Vibhuti means 1/4 of the opulence of God. So where is the 3/4? 3/4 is the spiritual world. So the material world, which is known as the causal ocean, is separated from the spiritual realm by what is known as the Viraja river. This border, it's not labeled here very clearly, but there is a Viraja river. The Viraja river separates the material realm from the spiritual. Viraja means no Raja. So that is where all material activity ends. Beyond that is Shuddha Sattva, pure transcendental existence. So there is no Rajogun beyond Viraj. Of course, Tamogun is not there even before that. So there is neither Raja nor Tama within the spiritual realm. It is Shuddha Sattva. Pure existence. So when one crosses over the Viraja river, first one comes into the Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is just this unlimited expanse of light. Such intense light that practically one cannot see anything but the light. So this zone is the area where the Jnana yogis wish to attain. Those who want liberation, but they are not interested in rendering devotional service to the Lord. So such impersonalists attain after perfection the Brahma Jyoti, which is nothing else but Krishna's effulgence. Tasya Tanu Bha. Beyond the Brahma Jyoti is Kailash. Kailash is higher than the Brahma Jyoti. And higher than Kailash is Vaikuntha. Higher than Vaikuntha is Krishna Loka. And within Krishna Loka, the highest is the stop sharing. Yeah. So so there is Ananta Shesh. Actually, Ananta Shesh is supporting the Bhumandal on his hoods. It is not very clearly visible here. So this diagram is not accurately representing that. But as we go higher from the material world to the spiritual world, our quality of pleasure also increases. In the material world, there is material pleasure, Jadananda. When you go higher, there is Brahmananda, impersonal joy, which is millions of times higher. And when you go to Vaikuntha, there is Premananda. And in Golok Vrindavan is the highest ecstasy of intense prema, which gives the most sweetest experience of ecstasy. So all this Lord Chaitanya explains very nicely. He says, 3/4 of creation is the spiritual world. Even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot even estimate the length and breadth of the spiritual realm and the Vaikuntha planet. So, to speak of ordinary living entities, just understand that it is practically unlimited. So just like the spiritual world is unlimited, Krishna's qualities are also unlimited. Even Krishna's qualities, even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva cannot estimate. Lord Chaitanya makes a very interesting statement. He says, there may be a time, that even some scientist may be able to count each and every atom within the universe, may be able to count all the stars and planets in the sky and all the particles of snow in existence. But the unlimited transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord cannot be completely counted. That Supreme Lord, time and again, for the welfare of all living entities, descends into the material world, charm our heart. Externally, he comes, Dharma Sansthapanarthaya. Externally, he comes, Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushtam. But internally, he comes again and again, display his beautiful transcendental pastimes, give us subjects to hear and discuss about and purify ourselves and attract our hearts, his opulence and sweetness. Nobody can estimate the Lord's quality. Even Ananta Shesha is unable to estimate. He has been chanting the glories of the Lord since time immemorial, but he has still not completed. So that is probably the first Bhagavatam class, which is not yet ended. Ananta, continuous glorification of the Lord. One more interesting thing, Lord Chaitanya says, what to speak of Ananta? Even Lord Krishna himself has not yet been able to estimate the reach of his glories and his transcendental qualities. Which means what? What to speak of us? Even Krishna cannot estimate. Krishna's glories are so unlimited that Krishna himself cannot fully fathom. He himself is always eager to know them. And that same Krishna who's situated in Golok Vrindavan, he descends on this earth once in a day of Brahma and displays his Golok Vrindavan pastimes on earth. In fact, when the Lord is on earth, the same Vrindavan from the spiritual world is manifested in this world. Vrindavan within this material world externally is described as Chaurasi Kos, 84 square miles. So when you say, how is it unlimited? No, actually, unlimited spiritual world is within this so-called 84 square miles. In fact, this 84 square miles is actually unlimited. It appears 84 to our material eyes, but actually it is unlimited. It is so unlimited that all Vaikuntha planets can fit in one corner of the Vrindavan in this particular universe. That's how unlimited and extensive Vrindavan is. Of course, we are unable to materially conceive what Lord Chaitanya is actually describing. Then Shukadev Goswami goes on to say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes on to say, Sanatan Goswami, that when the Lord is performing his Lila in Goloka Vrindavan, he has unlimited associates. Unlimited associates. And one should not be surprised with what is described. Krishna had unlimited cowherd boys, and each of the cowherd boys had unlimited. Krishna had unlimited cows, and each of the boys had unlimited cows and calves to tend. Huh? Lord Chaitanya says each cowherd boy was tending to calves of how many numbers? Koti, Arbuda, Shankha, Padma. Means the number of cows begins with crores, goes to 10 crores, 100 crores, 1000 crores, and so on. Shankha, Padma, these are all bigger numbers. All cowherd boys had unlimited cows. And each of the cowherd boys had their canes, their flutes, their lotus flowers, their garments, their ornaments. Who can estimate Krishna's associates and their opulences? And all this manifestation within Goloka Vrindavan of all these eternal associates of the Lord, along with their unlimited cows and other paraphernalia, is manifested by Krishna in 1 second. That is the opulence and power. Krishna performed this beautiful pastime of temporarily in Vrindavan, within a small corner of Vrindavan, manifesting these unlimited Vaikuntha universes and Vaikuntha forms, and again withdrawing it into himself when he performed the pastime of bewildering Lord Brahma. I saw that, manifested all these Vaikunthas and then wound up all of them within his body. So when Lord Brahma saw that and he realized that the entire Vaikuntha realm is in one corner of Vrindavan, he was so bewildered. Lord Brahma says that, oh Lord, some people say that they know you and they know about your opulence. But after my experience today, I want to make this statement that if they want to say like that, let them say. But as far as I am concerned, my opinion is this, that your opulence is such an unlimited ocean. It is verbally and mentally impossible even for me, Brahma, even realize a drop of the ocean of your opulence. So there are some people who say, oh, I know God, I know the glory of God. That such foolish people say whatever they want. But I, in bracket, the most intelligent entity in this universe, the creator of this universe, I am honestly admitting your opulences are beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words. So if Brahma is making that admission, what to speak of us? So even if you don't remember all of this, all we have to remember is Krishna's opulences are truly unlimited. Sometimes when we hear these numbers of the sizes of Vaikuntha planets, number of associates, number of cows, we become very worried. Oh, how Krishna manages all this. So we don't have to worry how he manages. He's not like us. Krishna's opulences and power is truly unlimited. He doesn't. For him, this unlimitedness is not a botheration. For example, for us, if you want to have a nice play, a nice picnic, we sometimes say, let's not have too big a crowd. Why? Because we are limited. We are unable to interact with too many people in the same go. Krishna has no such vision. Lord Chaitanya says that Brahma got that realization. He was perplexed, but he came to that realization that Krishna is the original Supreme Person and his opulences are the Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana. And all other deities, whether they are Vaikuntha expansions or even Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, the Trimurti who are in each and every universe, they are also simply carrying out Krishna's orders. This point also we have discussed multiple times. Lord Chaitanya mentions Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ara Sakalabra. That actually the only fully independent boss is Krishna. Even all other expansions, what to speak of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, but even all other Vaikuntha incarnations are in a mood of service. The first expansion of the Lord Balaram is also in a mood of service. So all the lords are lords for others, but their own relationship with Krishna is of service. And that same Lord, for the purpose of material manifestation, manifests three Purusha avatars. Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Charanodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Just saw that beautiful picture. So the universes are emanating from the body of Karanodakshay Vishnu, also known as Mahavishnu. Then within each universe, Lord lies on Lord Ananta, and from his navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu comes the lotus. And within this universe, there is a Shvetadvipa planet where the Kshirodakshay Vishnu resides within the ocean of milk. We have been discussing that in our Bhagavatam classes also. So that ocean of milk is another planet, which is a spiritual planet. So these three, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Mahavishnu. These three are also known as Trayadhisha, the Lord of Three. Krishna is described as Trayadishwar by Lord Chaitanya in various ways. Krishna is Trayadish because he manifests himself as these three Purusha incarnations, as the Lord of energy. He is also known as Trayadhisha because he is also the controller of the three modes of material nature. He's also Trayadisha because he's the Lord of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. The Lord is also known as Trayadisha because he is the Lord of the three abodes. Trayadisha means Lord of three. What are the three abodes? He is the Lord of the material dham. Correct? He is the Lord of Goloka and he is also the Lord of the spiritual. Sorry, the three refers to Devi Dham, Mahesha Dham and Haridham. Means that within Haridham Golok is there. Haridham is the abode of Hari, then Mahesha Dham in the middle and down is Devi Dham. Devi Dham means the abode of material energy. Then Lord Chaitanya, to substantiate what he's saying. Now you will see this also as a very common factor. Whenever Lord Chaitanya has given teachings to his direct followers, Lord Chaitanya, even in his teaching, has consistently quoted from scripture. So sometimes people think that, oh, Lord Chaitanya came up with his own philosophy. No. Whatever Lord Chaitanya says, and all his followers follow this principle, that they always quote from scripture to substantiate what they are saying. So Lord Chaitanya quotes many shlokas from various scriptures as he is explaining all these things. So then Lord Chaitanya also explains that, let me tell you a story of what is mentioned in the Shastra. That one day Lord Brahma came to see Lord Krishna when Lord Krishna had appeared. And this happened in Dwarka, not in Vrindavan. So regularly when Krishna was in Dwarka, a host of demigods would come to meet him. So once Brahmaji also came there. So Brahmaji, everyone was in queue, but Brahmaji is, VVIP. So he went to the watchman and told, can you please inform the Lord that I have come to see him? So watchman said, okay. He went to Lord Krishna and said, Brahma is here to see you. Should I send him in? Lord Krishna tells the doorkeeper, go and ask him, which Brahma are you? He said, ask which Brahma. Our four-headed Brahma is confused. What kind of a question is this? Which Brahma? Because I'm the one and only, the firstborn. So he tells him, I am the firstborn, I am the four-headed Brahma, the father of the four Kumaras. So quietly, doorman goes in, tells, and then the Lord says, okay, send him in. So anyway, Lord Brahma comes and takes the darshan of Krishna and he offers him beautiful obeisances. And after being worshipped by Brahma, Lord Krishna asked him, Sab theek hai? Sab kushal mangal? Came to visit. Any problem? We sorted out. Because usually the Devatas will also come not just out of love, but also because they have some problems to sort out. Correct? This happens, right? Sometimes in our company, the top CEO will come to visit some office, some campus. And then he will meet all the senior people there and ask them everything. Okay, you need my help. Anything to be sorted out. So Lord Krishna, whenever he visits universes, these various predominating deities will, have one-on-one with the big boss. Something, yeah, oh Lord, by everything is fine. I'll tell you why I came. I came for a particular purpose. So before we discuss business, can I ask you one question, my dear Lord? Yeah. Why did you say which Brahma has come to see you? Of course, you are the Supreme, so you know everything. So there must be a purpose why you made this inquiry, because I can't figure out why you would ask such a question. You are all knowing, you know. Is there any other Brahma besides me in this universe? Krishna just smiled. Krishna just closed his eyes for a moment and meditated, and instantly he summoned in that room simultaneously the Brahmas, Indras, and Shivas from unlimited universes. They all appeared simultaneously, and they all could see Krishna, but they couldn't see each other. Only our Brahma could see all of them together. And that sight was so overwhelming. There were some Brahmas who had 10 heads, some had 100, some had 1,000, some had 10,000 heads, some had 100,000, some had 10 million, some had 100 million heads. And now we may think this is all nonsense. How can somebody have 100 million heads? So, our head is very small. Let us not try to imagine. For Krishna, nothing is impossible. Brahma's intelligence itself is so high that if we were try to get the capacity, the power of intelligence of Brahma, we will instantly die. That's the kind of, our body cannot take. There was an Asura, propitiated Brahma. He thought he's very smart. He told Lord Brahma, whatever knowledge you have, I want it immediately. Are you sure? Yeah. Sure. Said yes. And because he was a demon, and because Lord Brahma knew that he would use all of that for selfish, egoistic purposes, Brahma actually granted him, because Brahma knew what would be the outcome. As soon as Brahma granted that boon, his head burst into millions of pieces and he died on the spot. Cannot take. And that is our four-headed Brahma's processing power, his intelligence. Quad processor. There are millions of processors. And Lord Krishna explains to Brahma, the reason is your universe, small one, not particularly impressive in size. But there are other universes which are so huge, so vast, that quad processor is not enough. Need 1 million parallel processors to process for Brahma to rule and manage those universes. So all these various deities, Brahmas and Shivas, they all offered obeisances at Krishna. So overwhelmed. He said he suddenly felt himself like a small rabbit in a herd of elephants. So Krishna does this time and again with his devotees. Sometimes some devotees accidentally sometimes feel I am very great, I am very extraordinary. And they are extraordinary from our perspective. But when we compare Krishna's power and the power that Krishna has deployed across the material and spiritual existences, everyone is so small and insignificant. So this is where Brahmaji has a very sobering realization. Of course, there's a detailed conversation. We discussed this earlier, so I don't want to go. Essentially, Lord Krishna speaks to all these personalities simultaneously, talking to all of them together in the same go. But none of them know that Krishna is talking to everyone. Each one sees only Krishna and them. She says, everything is okay. Any problem? There's no problem, oh Lord. By your mercy, everything is okay. You called us, so we came to see you. The Lord said, okay, very good. My blessings with you. Go and continue your service. Then Brahma says, I thought I am the big boss. Now I realize actually I am so small. And that is also one of the times where Lord Brahma says, I thought I knew everything about Krishna. But now I realize I practically know nothing. So it is not really possible to estimate Krishna's opulence. All these descriptions are there, the scriptures, to bring us to the conclusion that one cannot fully fathom Krishna. Nobody can. We want to know about God's greatness so that we understand God's greatness, the natural consequences we give our heart to. God is so great. But actually, no matter how much we stretch our mind, our intelligence, we cannot actually accommodate the true opulence, the extents of the opulence of Krishna, the extents of the power of Krishna. How can a frog estimate the size of the Atlantic Ocean? How big? How? It's not possible for us to estimate. So Trayadhisha, coming back, Lord Chaitanya says, has various meaning. It also means Krishna is the Lord of the three dhams within the lotus. Goloka Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka. In each of these places, the Lord has a slightly different rasa and a slightly different form, even though it is the form of Krishna. Krishna of Dwarka, his personality and character is slightly different from Krishna in Mathura. Slightly different from the Krishna in Krishna Goloka is the original. So when Lord Chaitanya was describing all these opulences of Krishna, Lord Chaitanya became so agitated with appreciation of the opulences of Krishna. Love for Krishna awakened within. So this is the effect that we want when we hear about the glories of the Lord. We cannot fully describe God's glories. But this itself, if we contemplate on it, it will be mind-boggling. We cannot imagine it also. It is mind-boggling. It's just too far out. And sometimes we are so foolish, we think, oh, Krishna cannot even solve my problem. Oh God, you are incapable God, you cannot even solve my problem. Oh God, you are not a good creator because you have made such a mess. We don't understand that the Lord has a purpose in creating things the way they are. Everything is a part of the bigger scheme within this world and also beyond. So Trayadhisha refers to Goloka, Mathura, Dwarka. Trayadish also refers to the Lord who possesses three energies: the internal, external, marginal. Trayadish also we discussed earlier refers to the three Vishnu forms. So like that, the Lord is unlimited. Is an unlimited ocean of nectar. Lord Chaitanya concludes this section by saying, actually, that ocean is so big and vast. Nobody can even bathe in that ocean. Lord Chaitanya says, I touch one drop of that ocean. That's all. What can I do beyond that? So anyone who develops a little bit of appreciation for the unlimited opulences of the Lord cannot but surrender to the Lord and eventually fall in love. And Krishna says this precise thing in the Bhagavad Gita as well, 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So understand that I am the source of all material and spiritual things. One cannot estimate Krishna's opulence, but after all these descriptions, one understands it is just absolutely unlimited. There is no limit to the Lord's glories. And when one develops that, a little bit of appreciation, we cannot say understanding of the Lord's glories because one cannot fathom them. And one develops an appreciation for the unlimitedness of the opulence of the Lord, Buddha Bhava Samanvita. One cannot but be attracted to the Lord and give one's heart. So that is why it is worthwhile understanding the greatness of God. In fact, Srila Prabhupada oftentimes says that why Bhagavatam has 9 cantos before Krishna's 10th canto. Why Shukdev Goswami didn't start with the 10th canto, Krishna Lila? Because he wanted to establish who is this boy in Vrindavan who's walking in the pastures and herding cows. Do not think that he's an ordinary person. Who's this boy? He is the boy from whom these unlimited universes are coming. So one should develop some appreciation of the extent of the Lord's opulences. So one must understand the Lord's greatness before one can actually appreciate the Lord's sweetness. So next class, we will continue into the part where the Lord's sweetness is discussed. Sweetness, understanding or hearing Krishna's sweetness without appreciation of the Lord's greatness, we will take the sweetness very cheaply or we take the sweetness very exaggerated. So that is why first 9 cantos are very important. Prabhupada would say, don't skip to the 10th canto. And many people want to not just go to 10th canto, they want to go to Ras Lila within 10th canto directly. I don't need anything. I directly want to discuss about Radha and Krishna and the Gopis' intimate Ras Lila. What we will understand. We will think of them as mundane material affairs. So we should always first appreciate the greatness of the Lord. So the next chapter, another 50 odd verses in this chapter, we will discuss the so very much. Any questions or comments? So thank you so much for all gathering again on Tuesday. Hear about these pastimes. At the end of the day, hearing about the Lord's greatness and sweetness. The fruit of this is not just to acquire knowledge. It's not that after this class, we can go and put, oh, I know this, I know this, I know this dham, I know this size, I know that size. It is not about collecting information and showing off. Is about developing an appreciation of the greatness and sweetness of the Lord so that our hearts become attracted to. Bhava samanvita. If that bhav of love and appreciation for the Lord is not coming, then actually we are not really properly understanding, or we are just gathering information and not truly developing an understanding and appreciation and eventually attraction for the Lord. So all of this is ultimately meant for us, for our hearts to be attracted. Our real fortune arises when our hearts are attracted by Krishna. Akarshayati. Yeah, Tarun.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, after hearing the class, the bhava of attraction is less, insignificance is more, Prabhu.
Yeah. It begins with insignificance. We understand the glories of the Lord. Actually, when one understands the greatness of the Lord, of course, our insignificance is part of that understanding. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam prabhavo. Sometimes we think that, should I surrender to this Krishna? Then one actually develops some appreciation and realize actually there's nothing but Krishna. Either personally or in the form of the extension of his energies. So naturally the devotee, when he develops that understanding, so we start with insignificance, but eventually we realize Sarvam Krishnamayam Jagat. He sees Krishna everywhere. Remember, I saw Mahavatar Narasimha movie just this Sunday. So one of the highlights there is Prahlad Maharaj's experience of how he could actually see Krishna everywhere. Lord Narayan. So Lord Narayan everywhere. Wherever he would see. Even when we say Narasingha Pranam, we say, right? Ito Narasingho, Parto Narasingho, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narasingho, Bahi Narasingho, Hridaye Narasingho, Narasimham Adim Sharanam. So true appreciation culminates in this realization. Right? So our insignificance is a good starting point. At least it will keep us humble. So that is good, bro. Yes, you are on the right track. Okay. So if nothing else, we will continue next week. So Saturday, we will continue with our Bhagavatam class. Thank you very much. Please keep coming on Tuesday. If you think you know others who may want to follow Chaitanya Charitamrita series, please let them know also. Praise them. Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone.